Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to F1 Total Division 3. We're here for round number 16 of Season 18 here at the Japanese Grand Prix. And with only, the 3 rounds to go with a sprint, including this race, it's really getting down to the business end of the season. We've got Maxi, the first driver, heading out onto the circuit. But championship-wise, after the last race, it's quite tight with 6 points separating the top 2. Mihai then a further 25 back. Realistically, is not quite in, he's not a favourite anymore. Definitely an outside chance as we head into the final 3 rounds of the season. But there are still, there's 75 points plus a sprint still up for grabs. There's plenty of the things that can change. It's not over just yet, but realistically, I think we're seeing a title fight between Viral and Flavors for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, if you include the point of fast lap and the sprint race, there's 90 points to win, which actually means that even Maxi down in 5th place, being 87 points back, is still in mathematical contention. So it's definitely not over for Mihai, 31 points back with 3 rounds to go and a sprint race, but he does need, I would say, especially from Viral and from Flavors as well, somewhat, at least one race where they score very little or ideally nothing at all. But it's definitely a gap that has been overcome before in league racing, in this league, in racing in general, it's not unheard of, for sure.
Yeah, of course it'll be difficult for him, but it is still very much possible. But yeah, it looks to be more likely to be either Viral or Flavors taking it from this point, as Maxi is just taking us into the first couple of corners of the first run in qualifying here tonight. And then, yeah, we'll just see how we do. It should be dry qualifying and a dry race, which will have a few less curveballs in this one in particular. Abu Dhabi next week, you'd assume, is dry. It's always possible for it to rain. It's not a 0 chance, but pretty much it's not going to rain. And then Brazil final race could also very much see some rain there. It's one of the most unpredictable circuits with weather because of the country's location and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, I think I did say if at least one of Monaco, Japan, or Brazil is wet, that would be rather unlikely. Monaco and Japan are dry, so going off that, Brazil has to be wet, right? That's how it works.
Yeah, something like that. Not quite.
My math teacher would kill me for that.
Yeah.
So Maxi a 10.7, a middle sector, and he's gonna be the first one coming across the line here in this qualifying session. And behind him is already our championship leader, Viral. So Maxi, last week's race winner in Monaco, now sets the benchmark for everybody else to beat. It's a 28.234, which I believe is quite a solid lap.
Yeah, I think the gap will come down a little bit as they get later in the session, possibly into the mid to low 27s by the final runs of quality. We don't know for sure as Viral coming across the line. It's a 28.2. Matches what Maxi does, but can't go faster. Then it's Action Rick with a 29.9. Then it's his Mercedes teammate of Owais, who's just coming around the final corner. Can see what he can manage. It's going to be a 28.7. Go half a second off those top 2. And then I believe it's Mihai coming across the line. And yes, 127.6 to go 6 cents faster than what we've seen so far. And definitely confirms that we will probably be in the low 27s for your pole time later on. 28.5 from Ossie, who slots in 3 tenths behind his teammate, or 2.5 behind Viral. Then we got the Kaiser, who's invalidated, yeah.
Dylan is next, but I just saw him coming out of Degner with gravel on his tires, so I believe he had an off there. So both Aston Martins, I think Dylan is still going.
Yeah.
But it kind of took about of a lap if he was off on the gravel somewhere. But we'll see. As he comes into the last sector, I believe the guys were doing like mid 110s after sector 2. And Dylan is going to be a bit slower than that.
It's going to be
with a
11 or 12.
Yeah, he's about 2 seconds off. I mean, 1.5 maybe.
If he's had enough in the gravel, you can kind of understand that. Depends how severe it was. He's coming into the last.
He's already run out. Yeah,
he's coming into the last corner. He is going to run out before he gets to the line, which is going to cost us straight line speed, but it's not the biggest of differences. It's quite a short run to the line. 130.0 from Dylan puts him.
Flavors is on the way, and Kaiser's on the way again as well. A 31.9 first sector from Flavors compared to Mihai. That's pretty much equal.
Yeah, so it's a good run in the first sector so far from Flavors. It's probably the most technical part of the lap where most things can go wrong, but straight line speed comes into is a much bigger factor, especially in sector 3. So you can lose time there. Seemingly, with a perfect sector, you can just be slower than the other guy if it's just with a difference of wings. Flavor's taking us through spoon curve of 13 and 14 is again just getting back on the power as soon as he can, putting the overtake on, and just keeping it flat out down into 130R, which is easily flat in these cars. It's a 110.5 across the first 2 sectors. Flavor's draining the battery. He's going to have not much left by the time he gets to the final, like, a short little straight to the line. He's going to run out a little bit before he gets to the line. It's 27.7 to go a 10th behind what Mihai put in just a little bit earlier. Dylan's not going again. He's currently down. The Kaiser, I believe, posted a lap time of 129.9.
Fairly close, actually, with Action Rig. Half a 10 between them in P7 and P8. Dylan with that 30.7, I think, still has a lot of time to find. Always is underway, coming towards 130R on his second run already. And I believe he was a bit down in the first sector. And now he has lost even more in the second sector. 4 tenths down on his previous best. And I think he's actually on used tires. He hasn't even gotten back in the pit lane yet.
Yeah.
So that would explain why he's unable to gain any time. The tire, of course, will go off quite badly. So maybe him back in the pit lane now. No, he's going to keep going, but the lap will not be an improvement.
He found some time in the last sector. So
Dylan's underway now, but he's gone very wide through turn 1. That certainly cost him a little bit of time there. Now is the S section, most crucial part of the lap. This is where you really can gain or lose a lot of time. And I would say from Dylan, it looks a bit scrappy.
yeah, it's just
Taking a little lift even up through Dunlop, even though he's on overtake mode, so that's a bit of a waste then of ERS. Tipping tires to the
7 tenths down.
He's 7 tenths down, yeah. Not a good first sector from Dylan.
depending how severe his
we
off
know-
was, yeah, he
Yeah,
can
I think it was
find
pretty severe.
a little bit more time as he.
Oh, he's breaking in. Dylan, would you stay on the asphalt? For like 1 corner. Stop driving into the grass.
Yeah. So presumably Dylan's not good. I mean, he did say it's like his worst track and he's not been practicing, so it's not going to go too well. But yeah, it's not quite what we'd have expected from Dylan based on some of his recent form, but he's still got the rest of qualifying and the race to turn it around as he's going to... Yeah,
Oh god, he's down.
yeah, he's still down.
Dylan! What's going on?
And I'd assume...
And he's
gonna
not
be
over
back
gears
in the
again.
pit lane. Yeah. I'd assume he's not going to complete the lap with how it's going, and yeah, now he's
I
definitely
mean, he
not.
was on used tires, but I didn't think he would gain a second
Yeah.
in the middle sector. But no,
Virus
he actually
is-
just is that slow today.
Varus is taking us through the S's for the first time, or for the second time, sorry. He's on new tyres this time around. It was just a bit of over rotation on the inside. Through Dunlop there, just a little bit too much
Stay off
curb.
that curb.
He's a
Yeah.
tiny bit up through sector 1, a lift into Degner 1 as he rotates it through. He goes a little bit wide
that's
onto the
lap done.
curb, and that's the lap done as he goes. Spearing into the wall. He's honestly quite lucky to have not
Very
shit a
lucky.
wheel off there. He's lost his entire front
As
wing.
soon as I saw
Yeah.
the entry into the corner, I knew it was over. He went in too quickly. And yeah, he got out wide on that curb, which completely you can't. You just kind of skateboard over it. And from then, you know, there's not a whole lot you can do on the landing afterwards. It tends to send your car into a spin. Even if it doesn't do that, you'll either get an invalidation or have lost a ton of time from being up in the air for a little bit. And of course, when your tires aren't on the ground, that you can't accelerate. That's a lot of time loss, even if you don't go off. And quite lucky from Viral there that his qualifying isn't over yet.
Yeah. Maxi's just taking us through Sector 1. He got a little bit out of shape on the exit of 2, but otherwise the sector seemed fairly clean. But he's gone
Oh,
wide
done.
through Degner 1 and spearing into the wall. He's quite lucky to still be going as well as he went deep through Degner 1, can't break on the gravel, and the wall really just invites you in once you go that wide. And it's a hit
Yeah,
of the front
Degner
wing.
is... Degner 1 and 2 really are, I think, the main spot we'll see people going off all of the day. That curb on the first apex, you know,
Yeah.
it's quite high,
Hard.
but you can gain a lot of time by taking it because it allows you to take the corner flat out. But then
Yeah.
you can either jump over that curb and just sprint immediately, or you can jump over that curb and understeer on the landing, and then you go off onto the outside curb and into Degner 2, and that curb also puts you in that skateboarding position where your tires are off the ground and you can't turn, you can't brake. You can't do anything. You're just going straight.
Yeah. Aussie's half second up.
And of course, then there's a slow corner coming up. So when that happens to you, you just crash.
Yeah. Aussie's 2/10 up through sector 1 and 2 as he rotates it through the final chicane. He's going to look to leapfrog his teammates. It's a slide coming out of the final corner. It's going to cost him a bit of time. He still finds 5.5 tenths. There'll be a little bit more in that as well. Aussie up into P3. 2 tenths off what the top two managed and 3 tenths ahead of anyone behind him. As now we've got Flavors coming around again. Bazooka's just starting his first lap of the session. But Flavors takes us around the final corner. And we can see whether he can find the 10th he needs to challenge Mihai. Mihai, I believe, only doing 2 runs in this session, which is interesting. With 6 minutes to go, he's not gone back onto the track again. So it's just going to be the 2 runs for Mihai, which will be...
I don't hate that strategy, to be fair.
I don't know how the
P3,
soft is
he's
at this
got
track.
the front row fairly locked in.
Yeah.
And I don't think it matters all too much in league racing whether you start pole, second, or even third. So having that extra soft available, especially in a division like Division 3 where safety cars are far from unheard of, it opens up strategy options at the end of the race. Having a fresh soft left over.
I don't know how viable the soft is at this circuit, but I can't imagine...
Oh, not at all, but if you have like a safety car threat from the end, you know?
Yeah, it can be better than nothing. Flavors a 10th up through sector 1, so he rotates it through the hairpin, now round turn 12, completely flat out, not a challenge at all for a Formula 1 car. Into 13 and 14 spoon curve can be a good place to get a lot of time if you're committed, but can also be the place where the lap goes very, very wrong if you overcommit. He seems to have got it through nicely there. There's still a little bit more of the track he could have used, so not quite pushing the absolute limit. 10.5 up though, as he takes us down into the final chicane through 130R there, completely flat out.
His teammate goes 7th.
Little bit wide on the apex of that chicane. Could have taken a little bit more of that inside as he comes across the line. We see he lost some time in the final sector, and it's not enough to beat Mihai. He's 5 thousandths off, and it's still Mihai in provisional pole.
By over a second there, so a good lap from Dylan so far. This will put him well ahead of Kaiser and Akshmik into 8th. And with a little bit more time getting in the last sector, he can get Bazooka and Always as well, but that last chicane did not look too good. Missed the apex in the second part. Now staying close to the hit wall on the right-hand side, and he, not quite enough to get 6th. But it's very close. 7.79 from Always, 8.16 from Bazooka, and 8.28 from Dylan in the battle between 6th, 7th, and 8th. Viral underway again, currently down in 5th. His title rivals both in the front row. He's got both Saubers in the way there, and I think those are the main contenders that Mihai and Flavors will be hoping can take points off Viral. And of course, Viral hopes they can take points off Mihai and Flavors. They are, I think, the closest to this top 3 group.
Yeah, of course.
Sort of playing a role that Mercedes would in the last few years in title fights.
Yeah.
Where, they'd be sometimes up there. 10th up in the middle sector from Viral, that could put him ahead of Maxi into 4th. It's not enough to get into the 27th and challenge Aussie for P3 though. Unless he has a great final sector. I would say that looked pretty good. But I'm not sure how good his final sector was. It's 28.061. He does gain almost 2 tenths at the end. That's still another 10th he has to find to beat Aussie for the top 3.
Yes, it's an improvement from Viral, and it gets him in the right direction, but he doesn't have the fuel to go again, so I think... That could be it. Yeah, that'll be it for Viral.
Yeah, true.
By the time he gets back to the pit lane, he won't have time to go out again. That's it for Viral in qualifying. The championship leader is going to be 4th at best. And so it is definitely advantage Flavors after this point in qualifying. Because Mihai being fetched 1 point behind is a little bit more out of it. Flavors only a handful of points. I think it's 6 behind Viral. Is in a much better position to capitalise on his slightly poorer races. Such as what this one looks like it might be. But then, of course...
Dylan is back in the pits with 2 minutes 30 to go, but he's actually retired. I was about to say if he has enough time, but he...
Oh, the Kaiser's just spun on 130R. He just got on the outside curb.
On the outlap?
Yeah.
Interesting.
He got on the outside curb and bottomed out and just went around.
Ah, it's just tyre warming technique. So it was on purpose.
Yeah. And the 3% tyre wear that goes with it will be...
Who cares about tyre wear?
Yeah. It's the Kaiser now.
The first one who starts this last charge of laps. Currently in P10 at 29.974, and there's Pix just in time for the race.
Won't be able to set a lap in qualifying though, unfortunately.
Yeah, so he's going to be starting in 11th.
Yeah.
Well,
Not the
fortunate
ideal
for him in
line
this
from
race.
the Kaiser through that first little bit. Ossie's kept a lot neater through turn 2 this time around than on his previous. Will have found a decent bit of time from that, and maybe with a good lap he can challenge the top 2. I'm not so sure about that. Maybe if he gets
The
a bit of
Kaiser
luck
down
as
by
well.
7 tenths. So it's unlikely we see an improvement from him. Action Rick likely to have that P9 wrapped up now. Unless Kaiser can
Ooh,
have an
Ossie!
amazing middle or final sector.
Ossie was up by 10 through sector 1, but he just tapped the grass on the entry to Degner 1, got a little bit too greedy with the track limits, and that just sent him off the track spearing wide. He might have enough time if he's got the fuel to go again. There's a minute to go. He should be able to go again if he has the fuel required. Mihai now just starting what will be his final lap of the session with only a minute to go. Anyone starting their laps now won't be able to go again if it goes wrong. Mihai, a little bit of over-rotation on that inside curb through 2, but it seems to have taken it fairly neatly. Now flicking it through the S's, carrying a lot of speed there as he takes it around. Turn number 6 now in towards 7. Should be flat out at this stage in qualifying. Takes it completely flat, puts the battery on. Once he gets past the most difficult stage of the corner, and we see he's a tiny bit down actually through sector 1, rotating it nicely over the inside curb of Degner 1, keeps it neat through Degner 2, and now up into the hairpin, just needs to spot his braking point, rotates it, locks up a little bit, goes a tiny bit deep, and bogs down a tiny bit on the exit, but he shouldn't have cost him all that much time, as he now is going to be flat out up into Spoon. And we see how much he's going to be willing to commit at this stage. It's a small break and a big lift. He runs a little bit wide on the exit of that first apex, through the second, a little bit needed, but he's gone wide! Onto the curb, he bottomed out, lost time anyway. But the invalidation has ruined Mihai's lap, and now it's a question of whether Flavors...
Aussie underway.
Yeah, it's a question of whether
Maxi,
Flavors can do anything. Ossie's a 10th and a half up
sector.
through sector 1.
Maxi up by 2.5, so he's about to steal 4th of, maybe 3rd of Aussie.
As he comes down into the final chicane, he's going to want the best exit he absolutely can get, rotating it through the second half, possibly. Could have been a bit greedier with the inside if he wanted to be a little bit more aggressive, but here he comes across the line. He does go ahead of Viral, and that's his big hand to Flavors and Mihai, who have just another car in between them
Kaiser down by
and
1.5 tenths now. And
Flavors invalidated. Flavors has invalidated his run, so unless Ossie can do anything about it, it looks like it's going to be Mihai on pole. 2.5 tenths up. Is Ossie coming into the final sector? Is he going to have enough as he tries to spot this braking zone? As he rotates it through the final chicane, takes that inside curve aggressively. It's a good run out of the final chicane, but is it enough? Ossie coming across the line, it is! And it's pole position.
Flavors for Bazooka here. And Bazooka up by 4 tenths. So we've still got one more driver going around the final chicane to go, but it's looking likely that Aussie has got pole position wrapped up here. Bazooka will have to gain 1.3 seconds, even with the slipstream from Flavors, it won't have been that strong. And the final corner, I think that'll be enough for 6th position for Bazooka, and 28.192, it's almost enough actually to challenge Viral and Maxi in 4th and 5th, but not quite. So our grid is Aussie on pole, and it's very, very close. 5.95 and 6.21 to Mihai, and another 5 tenths of Flavors with 6.26 in 3rd. Then outside the 127s, Maxi 28.003, Viral 28.061, also unbelievably close in 4th and 5th. Bazooka just over 10 back from Viral in 6th, 26.192, then 6 tenths to Overwise, 28.779. Another half a tenth to Dylan in 8th, 28.828. Then we've got Action Rick with a 29.916, about a second behind Dylan, but very close to the Kaiser as well, half a tenth between them two, as the Kaiser rounds to the top 10, and then Pix joining too late to get a lap on the board without a lap time starting in P11.
It's a good lap at the end there from Aussie when it counts, which again throws another factor into this title fight at the front, because if Flavors can win this race with Viral down in 5th, it's a big point swing, but 3rd to 5th, the difference between that is not nearly as much. That's only a 5-point difference, and it wouldn't even put him in the championship lead. So with how it is, I think Viral will be quite satisfied in the end with how things have gone. Obviously he won't be happy starting in 5th, but I think for him being in 5th, this is sort of the best case scenario he could have hoped for with Flavors down in 3rd. Because it quite easily could have been pole for Flavors if things went differently.
Well, it quite easily could have been pole for any of them if things went differently. It's a very, very close top 3. And that, I think, sets us up for an exciting Grand Prix as well. And I'm very much looking forward to see what strategies people go for.
Yeah.
Because the hard medium definitely is quite a viable run around here. The undercut is not that strong.
It takes a while for the tires to warm up, from what I found, which makes the undercut
exactly.
a little bit...
So it can work quite nicely to go for the overcut and come out the pit on mediums, since they don't have to warm up all that much.
Yeah.
So yeah, that could be a factor, I think. That's what I would do, at least. I think I would start on hards and go mediums later on. Of course, then you run the risk of having an early safety car or something like that. Everybody else pits for hards and go to the end. You're already on hards. You can't pit for hards again. Well, you can pit for hards again, but you have to pit mediums and next lap pit hards. So you drop to dead last. That's the only way to then make the end of the race. So either way, you're a bit screwed in that scenario.
Yeah.
So it's risky.
Yeah, it is. All strategies really are a risk. You don't know how the race is going to play out. If you knew exactly how to play out, you'd do one strategy and everyone would be on the same one. But
yeah, but I mean, there's some strategies where you're less likely to get fucked over by a safety car, you know?
Yeah, of course. But then you have other benefits, like other situations where you get the Sean from Australia in Division 1.
We've got one old head who has the same thought as me.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense for Dylan down in 8th. Doesn't really have much to lose going on the hard tyre. But yeah, it is the C1, so it does take a while to warm up. And isn't the greatest tyre? It's, it's not, could be worse. It's not the C6.
Oh.
But yeah, Aussie now just going to be lining up on the grid. And we await the beginning of the Japanese Grand Prix. Should be an interesting one. With Aussie at the front, can Mihai and Flavors get past him later on in the race? We'll have to wait and see for that. And yeah, got fire lights. 27 laps ahead of the drivers here in Suzuka. And it's lights out, and away we go. And Aussie does seem to have had a pretty decent start there. Mihai moving to cover off Flavors. Viral with a good start, moving up into 4th. Can he challenge Flavors on the inside? Through turn 1, he moves himself ahead. Viral up into 3rd, ahead of his championship rival, and that's a huge move to be making on the opening lap. Aussie leads. Mihai 2nd place, Viral in 3rd. Flavors drops down to 4th, and now behind Viral with Bazooka in 5th. You can possibly help him out later, going wide there. That's Owise onto the grass. There's contact with Dylan. Owise goes spinning round and falls to the back of the grid as he's now under pressure from his teammate Action Rick. And I think he's just spun there as well.
He's gone around again.
Yeah. And
yeah,
Owise
still grass on his tyre.
falls to the back of the grid, and that's not what he would have wanted in this race. But it's a good start for Aussie as he maintains that gap, and it's the perfect start for Viral to get ahead of Flavors early on. There's a big gap there from Maxi in 6th down to the Kaiser, because the top 6 all in one train. And then it's a 1.8 second gap behind that. Pix moving himself up into 8th from the back of the grid has had a pretty decent start so far, but he'll want to keep going. But I think that top group has already well and truly gone, and I don't see him closing that back up without a safety car.
Yeah, pretty poor start for Maxi. He lost 2 places off the line to Viral and Bazooka, so he'll be quite annoyed with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, now all back of Aussie coming into the last chicane here.
Practically
might try and go for the move into turn 1 this lap already, rather than waiting for DRS. Because only one DRS around here, so the DRS not as much of a factor as it is in races usually. And that is going to play into the cards of Mihai if he wants to go for it now. As he goes for the outside into turn 1, quite aggressive. And then backs out, rear ends Aussie through the corner, tries to switch back.
Burnt a lot of battery to be in that position. He's now got a 1/3 of what Viral has. Viral almost having a full battery. Mihai burnt down to about 10% on that main straight this early on. It's not too bad to recharge.
What's interesting is that Aussie, Mihai and Viral all kept the medium ES on through the S's, but the guys behind, Flavors, Bazooka and Maxi, they all went to none.
Yeah.
Which, through the S's, it's free. Free EIS gain to go to none. You're barely full throttle anyway.
Yeah. I guess the thing with Viral particularly is he's got very high ERS anyway.
Yeah, Viral didn't need to, but especially Aussie and Mihai just threw away free EIS region. Japan is quite a nice track for EIS region because of that first sector. You can basically burn to like 40% coming into turn 1, so you have this 2 back-to-back straights. Oh, Mihai is off!
Mihai's gone wide! And he's rejoined right in front of Flavors. And now Viral into 2nd place will get the DRS here as they come into, exiting 130R.
so Flavors will get him.
Is Flavor's going to stick the wheel up the inside into 130R? He's going to wait. Possibly go for it on the main straight if he can get the exit he needs as they head into the last chicane. Is he going to think about the move? He had a little think, but he's not been close enough. Viral goes a bit deep as he's trying to follow behind Aussie, and he's not got the grace of exits. He might be under a little bit of pressure from Mihai, but he doesn't have the battery to fight with. Here comes Flavors, and also doesn't really have the battery to fight. He's going to pull to the outside into turn 1. Mihai and Flavors side by side. Is there enough space? Flavors just goes drifting slightly wide. And Mihai holds on into 3rd place, defending that nicely. And Flavors now going into none. Viral and Aussie actually doing the same. But Mihai, sticking it in medium with only 25% battery, is really going to cost him this time next lap, really. When Flavors will have a big ERS advantage over him. Already has about double.
Yep, and that's the difference. Now Flavors can attack him once again next lap. I would say Flavors, I think, used a bit too much of the ERS coming into 130R and Cascade Triangle. He got right underneath Mihai's rear wing, and the dirty ERS sort of like lost him all the time he gained by pushing ERS, and then that's the ERS he was missing for the overtake. Into turn 1, Bazooka's round at the hairpin.
I think Maxi as well. Maxi was ghosted as well. And he's not lost that much.
Yeah, Maxi must have hit him, surely. There's no way, because Bazooka's spun on the apex. So he couldn't have spun on traction or anything like that, so I think Maxi would have gone into him. And Maxi
on the back of him.
hasn't got damage. And yeah, Bazooka's dropped about 2 to 3 seconds on that, and now has got Pix and Dylan right behind him.
The
top 4. Mihai is already below 10% as they come into 130R. This will be a great opportunity once again for Flavors. This time a bit further back, but he's got more ERS charge as Mihai is right on the rear wing of Viral. Big time dirt here for him. Flavors has a good chance to pass him to turn 1. He's maybe a bit too far back, but Mihai is on literally 0%.
And
that is going to give Flavors.
Close enough. Is Viral going to think about it on the inside? Viral moves up into the race lead, and Mihai's able to defend from Flavors. There's contact through turn 2. Flavors has wing damage. Mihai gets sent wide, and now they're a second behind the cars in front. Both low on ERS, and can Viral and Aussie break that second and run away? Especially with Flavors having the damage, he's going to be understeering so much through this first sector, the technical part of the track. He's going slightly wide through turn 7. That's not going to be the greatest of impacts, but he is just a tiny bit outside that 1 second. So if Aussie can get a move on, these top 2 can break away and try to extend the
Mihai's
gap.
off!
Oh, Mihai's gone off!
And exactly like we talked about. I think he would have understeered in Flavors' third year.
He's
trying to take it flat like they do in qualifying. You have to actually lift a bit in the race.
Yeah, he's lost a lot of time from that.
And down 5th behind Maxi.
And the gaps are really opening up because Flavors is a second behind Aussie, and Maxi's just 1.3 behind him. Mihai a further 2 seconds, and then Bazooka a second behind that. So the only people in this front train really, and it's not even really a front train anymore. They're all just outside it. Aussie's going to stay in DRS to Viral, but you'd imagine Viral will have the pace necessary to keep him back at least, if not being able to pull away. Flavors at 1.1 seconds.
It's the worst possible track to have wing damage on, and it shows because Flavors can't keep up in the DRS to Aussie and Viral. Unlike last week in Monaco, where Flavors had wing damage, he was still, I would say, the fastest car on track at that point. Aussie now, we've got absolutely no battery, but purely through DRS, he has to run on Viral because he's also low on battery and not using down the main straight. The 2 of them swapping once more. And Flavors needs to maybe battle a bit more if he wants to get back into the DRS range.
But neither of them have a reason to battle.
Swap for P9 there as well. Yeah, I mean, Aussie and Viral sort of are both in a similar situation. They are quite happy to just drive away, because they are not fighting each other in any championship. Viral, like Aussie isn't in the driver's championship fight against Viral. Aussie is fighting for the constructors with Sauber against Haas, so Viral is not an opponent for them either in that sense.
Yeah.
So for them, it's just mutually beneficial if they work together. Yeah. They've got a yellow flag, and that is over with a spin at Dunlop, going off into the gravel, dropping even further back from the field, and also drops the rear on re-entering the track still with gravel and grass in his tires. Flavors has gotten back into the DRS range now of the top 2. Maxi is just about hovering outside it. Mihai is losing ground. I'm not sure if he picked up damage from that collision. I don't think so.
I think he might just have had a knock to his confidence. He goes wide there on the extra spoon as well. That would have cost him a little bit more. Yeah, but Flavors back in DRS is a big helping hand for him, because that will just pull him along a lot more. Viral definitely seems to be faster than Aussie, and I think that's partly where the bottleneck is, and why they lost some time. And you can see how much better of an exit he got, because he just opened up the corner so much more and got a much better run. There he goes, up, back into the race lead, and now Flavors is going to try and follow him through, but he's not going to be anywhere near close enough.
Too far back. No.
Even with Aussie not having much ERS, he's still way clear of Flavors coming through.
So Train forming behind Mihai now. He's got Bazooka, Pigs, and Dylan all in his DRS range. I think the tire is swinging in favor of Dylan now. 5 level mediums, they are showing a bit of wear, and the medium will start to come into its own. And he can maybe get a move on Pigs, Bazooka, and Mihai and get into the top 5 before they pit. And then we'll see how much he can still get when he's on the medium later on. Of course, everybody else will get an undercut on him. So I think it's likely he comes out P8 again. But then he'll have about 10 laps or so to make some overtakes, and we see how much he can get out of this.
Yeah.
The top 4 now, all back in the train. Maxi has caught up into DRS of Flavors just about right now. Of course, still a few corners to go. Maybe Flavors can get him back out, but
doesn't look like it's at this
seems
stage.
Unlikely.
Yeah. Vara does have the most ERS in this train as well, which is it's something to note. If he chooses to burn all of it, he can probably keep himself ahead of Aussie. Depends how much Aussie
Definitely.
burns.
A 4/10 gap. You need to be within, I would say, 3/10 coming out the last corner if the guy ahead burns overtake.
Yeah. And Vara does seemingly get better.
That's with the guy ahead. No, that's what you both. With no carbing in front of the guy ahead, so he has no DRS, you know.
Yeah, it's going to be nowhere near for Aussie, and Viral's got away with not burning very much. Flavors has burnt more, and Maxi has burnt a decent bit as well to get into the DRS. Mihai does not have much battery at all, and he's a train leader, so he could be under pressure once Bazooka gets a little bit closer. If he uses the DRS a bit more.
Throwing away a lot of battery and a lot of race pace by being in medium the entirety of the S section. He's still doing it every lap. And it's really costing him, because that's like 30% of recharge that he's just not taking, because he's running in medium.
Yeah.
And you can tell when he comes to the end section, Bazooka behind him has got 65%, he's got 30. And Bazooka's gone off! At Degner 1, and there comes Pigs. Out of Degner 2, up the inside, now into the outside for the hairpin. Bazooka breaks early through the kink. And lets Pigs pull ahead. The Kaiser getting past Action Rick, because Action Rick has had an off at Degner as well. The corner taking more and more victims here today. And that means Kaiser up in the 9th, Action Rick about 5 seconds back from him now. And a lot closer to his teammate always as well, who's of course trying to come back from the earlier spin that he had.
Yeah, it's a really tricky complex, especially if you're pushing to try and regain some time. You can... It's falsely inviting, is Degner 1. Because that curb just spits you out. And if it does that, you're really just in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, it's a corner where you need a lot of commitment, because you can gain a lot of time by taking it perfectly, but the tiniest misjudgment, because it's a very one-line corner, you know, we don't have an alternative to the ideal racing line, really.
Unless you just, in the race at least, you take it slower and just intentionally miss the apex and go a little
exactly, but that's just so much time, that's what I mean with if you're committed, you can gain so much time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very risk corner. High risk, high reward.
Yeah. Especially in race room, I just don't take that curb, personally.
For the inside curb?
Yeah.
It's honestly safer for me if I take the inside curb, because if I don't take it, I just understeer onto the or not even understeer, I just go into the outside curb and bottom out. Because I suppose I would have to maybe tap the brakes a little bit or something to get speed off.
Yeah,
that's just not a thing for me, you know. That
I think I normally
I can do it pretty consistently, so I'm not too worried about it. I've done enough laps of Japan, but it's a thing you have to really get into your muscle memory to be able to take that corner, because you have to take it pixel perfect almost.
Yeah.
So that's just something that you have to have a lot of hours on the game on.
Specifically on Suzuka.
Yeah, true. not just on the game, but on this track specifically. I think Flavors did a good. Flavors actually asked me about that corner, and I sent him a lap of Istvan Puki to kind of show him how to do it.
Yeah.
And I think it's worked, because so far I've not seen him go off at that corner at least.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think I've seen almost everybody else mess it up in some way so far.
Yeah. Can't really think of anyone who hasn't.
Dylan up the inside of Bazooka into the first corner and gets a tire on the apex curb as well and goes all out of shape, but gets it stopped.
Yeah,
Good save from
Kaiser's
Dylan.
in.
Kaiser into the pit lane on lap 9, locks the race as well. It's an early stop for him, so I think that'll be a two-stop strategy.
Yeah.
Bit of a long one.
He's
And,
got a third of the way through the race. It's going to be...
I believe that's a
It's a
soft
tire.
actually.
Yeah, very much.
So yeah, definitely a two-stop.
You're not making
Interesting.
it
Did
more
not
soft.
think we'd be seeing a soft compound this race, unless there is like a
Late safety car.
very late safety car, yeah.
Yeah. It would have to be like the last... It comes out in the last 5 laps, so you do about 2 laps in it for it to be worth putting on to.
Yeah, it's really not a great. Once you get like 3 or 4 laps, you already want to be on a medium.
Yeah.
The soft wouldn't blow up or anything, but the medium would just be faster.
Yeah, yeah. Seven dents.
But we are at the point where I think it's quite late for anyone to two-stop, so it is. It seems like everyone's
Yeah.
committed to the one-stop, which is nice to see. Tire wear not much of a concern then for most of these guys. Mihai is hovering about 2 seconds back from this leading train, so he's doing a good job to hold the pace, but
holding the
he's not
pace,
catching at
but
all.
Without the DRS,
And,
it's quite hard to gain the pace. Is a problem.
I mean, this track is like the one track where you can't use an excuse. There's one DRS straight, it's not even that long. They're losing more from dirty air than they're gaining from DRS, I would say.
Quite possibly, to be fair.
And Maxi seems to have lost out on that DRS. Now he's over a second back from Flavors and Aussie right now.
Got less battery as well as he comes through. Yeah, I think Maxi could... And he's got back into it. It'll be close, whether he stays in or not. He could be under a lot of risk. Depends how much he can push and gain back in the rest of the lap. He's got back into 7, 8 tenths at this stage, so he might just be alright. But yeah, this is the sort of thing that you get at Suzuka, just a DRS training where people gain from the DRS, but they just lose so much from the dirty air as well that they're just stuck at about 6 tenths.
Yeah, it's really difficult to overtake.
Yeah. I remember in Division 2 with PC Willie, he was just sitting behind me the entire race. And because it was like...
You need a perfect exit out of the... Because coming into 130R, Spoon there's so much dirty air through there, you can't really stay close enough, and there's no DRS either, so you have to do it on pure slipstream. And then, yeah, the Casino Triangle is your best bet coming out of here into turn 1. As Raul is into the pit lane on lap 10.
Early.
Yeah, it's alright.
He can make the end. It's
Yeah,
just a little bit
it's
early.
definitely a
Maxi
one-stop.
following him in. As
Takes and Bazooka also in, so that's 4 cars. All in from a
just
medium, I assume onto a hard.
reacting. Yeah, I think they're all, especially Maxi, will be reacting to what Viral did.
Yeah, all 4 of them putting on hards.
Yeah.
And crucially, I think they'll all be in clean air. Yeah, Viral has got a good gap to Dylan ahead of him. And they are all going to come out ahead of the Mercedes, I believe. Or do they? Here's Action Rig. There's Bazooka. It could be close, but I think Bazooka is just about ahead of him. And that is quite important for him, that he doesn't get caught up behind people on old tires. So all of them can now make good use of this undercut. They have a 13-second buffer to Dylan in front, so they won't catch him before he pits, I would say. Or if they do, everybody else will have pit by then as well, so it's not a problem for them. And now we see if Aussie and Flavors respond to the undercut immediately, or if they go longer.
Yeah,
I think that will largely depend on their tire wear. If I look at Aussie's tire, that looks pretty shot.
Yeah, I'd imagine they'll react, and they will lose track position. No, they won't. They probably won't lose track position because they'll stay ahead of Maxi, or at least Aussie will. Flavors might be at a bit more risk, but they'll definitely lose time to Viral, possibly even lose the DRS, depending how strong this undercut is. It's not the strongest. It's not the strongest track for the undercut, but it's still.
It's more concerning actually they lose DRS when they come out on cold tires.
Yeah. So
Aussie's in, Flavors staying out still.
Flavors is going to go longer, possibly to lap 12, 13, 14.
I think 13 is like 12 is late. 13 is the latest you can reasonably do.
Yeah,
14 you're just an idiot.
Distance, yeah.
Yeah. The hard is a better tire than the medium, so there's no reason to spend more time on the medium than the hard.
Yeah. Here
And
comes
there is
Viral.
Aussie
He's
out the
gonna
pit
be
lane.
ahead.
He's firmly behind Viral, and he might end up behind his teammate Maxi as well.
He's
Nope,
going to be just
he's
ahead of
just ahead.
Maxi. But the
He has
gap's
lost
there.
2 seconds.
Yeah.
I did not think that the undercut is not that strong.
It's not. That won't
It
be
shouldn't
fully
be.
undercut. He was about 6 heads behind before Viral pitted, so he's lost 1.7 across the lap. The Kaiser's got
He must have
straight
had
to
a
second.
bad pit exit or something, or pit entry, sorry.
Or Viral just had a
maybe.
really good out lap. I don't know.
Always
so-
is in as well now. Gonna rejoin the race in 11th.
So when
But
Flavors
with
pits, he's
Kaiser
going
and
to be
Axrika
even
has left
further
the pit stop,
behind.
it's possible it comes out in 9th after they do.
Yeah. So Flavors, you'd imagine, pits this lap, and he's going to be even further behind than where these guys are. He's probably going to be behind Maxi
I'm
then.
interested to see if Flavors changes the wing.
Yeah. If he
That
changes the
would drop
wing,
him
he might come
back
back.
to Mihai.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think I would keep the damage because it doesn't seem to be impacting him majorly. And dropping those 5
Yeah.
seconds in the pit lane now would put him back with Mihai, and he'd have to do a lot of work to get back to the leading train. So it might be better to just stick with the devil he knows right now, which is being a bit slower on pace, but at
Yeah.
least still being in the right there in the fight.
Flavors and Mihai both changed.
And
both in the pit
yeah,
lane,
no wing change for
wing
Flavors.
Yeah.
A wing change for Mihai though.
Mihai changing his wing. I didn't. There's no visible
Yeah, he
damage
didn't
on
even
that
have
car.
visual damage, so the damage would have been not as bad as Flavors'.
That's a very
and,
interesting.
That will drop him shortly behind Pix and Bazooka.
Yeah.
Flavors
So-
comes out the pit lane
Behind both
ahead of those
Salbers.
two. Yep.
Yeah, Mihai is going to be. He's behind both of them quite comfortably. So Mihai down to 8th when he's already so far behind the championship is not what he needs at all. Viral leads by 2.1 seconds over the Salbers, and the Salbers are getting a nice race here ahead of both Hasses.
Yeah, as it stands, this is, I think, the final nail in the coffin for Mihai's championship ambitions. If
Yeah.
it were to finish like this. Of course, there is still about half the race to go. Anything can still happen, but if Viral wins this race, which at the moment he is about to do, as of course he is effectively P1, since Dylan still has to make a pit stop, and Mihai finishes down in 8th, maybe ahead of Dylan in 7th, that would be an absolute nightmare for him.
Yeah. Because that would extend the gap to like 50 odd points with only 2 races plus a sprint to go. And
Yeah, if there wasn't a sprint, it would might actually put him out of contention at this
I
point.
don't think it would be quite out of contention because he's only 31 behind, and it'd be 21 gains, so it'd be 52 if he finishes 8th.
He'd be just in mathematical contention, yeah.
Yeah, mathematical contention if he wins both races with fastest lap and then takes on count back. But yeah, it's not looking bright for Mihai at this stage. Dylan's not lost too much time. He's lost about 6 seconds since these guys pitted, so it's about 2 seconds a lap that he's losing right now. Fastest lap of the race from Maxi down in P4 as he tries to close in. And he's got the DRS of his teammates. He's trying to work together, the two Saubers, to catch up to Viral. But they've got a nice 2-second buffer to Flavors behind them, which will be very nice. Bit of reassurance. And yeah, and then it's Pix 4.5 seconds behind Flavors. Bazooka behind him. Mihai a further 5 seconds back to them. And it's gonna be a long day for Mihai if he does try to gain all of that time back. And obviously that's going to be what he tries to do, but I just don't know if he's going to be able to do it because it's 4 seconds at the moment, and he needs to overturn that and move ahead if he wants to get that place back. And Flavors is definitely out of reach for Mihai at this stage. So best case scenario for him really is going to be P6 with Flavors P5.
Yeah, this race is turning out very, very nicely for Viral. Quite likely that he wins it, and that Flavors will finish 5th with Mihai down in 7th. Maybe
Yeah.
I mean, he's catching Bazooka and Pix, so maybe P6 for Mihai. But still, he needs to gain points and not lose points.
Yeah.
Certainly not lose that many points.
Same can be said for Flavors. Needs to gain points. And
Yeah, I mean, Flavors has got the freshest tires out of anyone in the top 5, but he has also got that wing damage.
he's lost
Aussie
a
and
little bit of
Merxi
time.
are catching Viral, so that could
Yeah.
help Flavors a bit. Of course, 1, they will take points off Viral if they beat him, and 2, if those 3 start battling each other a bit more, that will have Flavors closing in with Mihai now at the fast lap of the race, so that wing damage definitely was affecting him earlier. He has got a lot more pace now, but also a lot more gap to people.
So I think what's happening right now is that Ossie's using his battery to try and close up. Maxie's using the DRS to stay with him without burning too much battery. And Viral's just driving a little bit slower to save battery. Because, Ossie's got the lowest battery by far out of those three, and he's the one that's pushing, setting the fastest laps. Maxie's got a decent bit reserved, so then maybe the Saubers will swap one. Oh, Flavor's 3 seconds! And that's not going to help him at all.
That's really, really bad for his race.
Yeah.
That pretty much locks him into 4th place at best.
Yeah.
Behind the 3 cars ahead of him. And of course, there are still a few cars who are chasing him behind. Picks up only 4 seconds back.
And
Mihai
Dylan will come out 12
has a
seconds
chance
behind.
now once again to beat Flavors. Dylan is also a driver to look out for on those fresh mediums, which will be going on to, I would say, this or next lap.
Yeah.
And now the 2 Saubers are just about outside the DRS range. I think next lap Ossie will have the DRS on Viral. 3-second penalty now to the Kaiser as well.
Yeah.
And Ossie just misses out on DRS
But
to
Ossie's
Viral.
drained the entire battery already. It's 20% coming through the last chicane. Viral having 65 at this point and won't be burning too much down the straight. So.
Still no pit stop from Dylan, so we wait another lap for that.
But
he will surely pit on lap 16.
Surely, yeah. I can't see him going any longer than this lap. Viral should be able to defend from Ossie fairly well, as we saw in the first stint. He's got a lot more battery, has good enough
this time
pace.
it will be easier for Ossie. That one lap tire advantage gives him the tiny little grip difference he needs out of the Casio triangle, and then coming down the hill into turn 1 to get that little bit closer, to get into that 3/10 range that we talked about earlier, because
I think it'll be
you need to overcome that dirty air and the low speed as well.
Yeah. Like, in the first stint, it was just impossible for him to get close. This time it will be possible, but still hard for him to get close and pass. Dylan's really got to pit soon, because he's losing a lot of time. Every lap he stays out is less laps for him to catch up and more time lost now. So surely he pits this lap when he's...
Yeah, I mean, I would say he has reason to be worried about the mediums being quite well at the end as well, and then of course the advantage he's built goes out the window. But he has to pit this lap, because otherwise he will have lost another 3 seconds on that lap, I would say.
Yeah.
As it stands, he's going to come out quite far behind Mihai if we open the gap to leader. Mihai is only 13 seconds back from him, so he's going to come out about 10 seconds behind. He's going to have to catch a second lap if he wants to get another position in this race.
Yeah, and he comes. Ossie's got DRS just about. He's sitting a second back now, having come through the last chicane, but he was just about in the detection point.
Maxie's also very low in ES. They've both been burning a lot.
Viral's still got
and so Flavors, all 4 of them are pushing quite hard right now.
To try and catch up, and Viral is honestly, that 1 lap tire advantage might just dissipate when
Bazooka and Pigs are having a battle DS section right now.
Oh yeah. Pigs on the inside should be able to get himself ahead, and yeah, there's not too much Bazooka can do about that. But I'm just thinking, like, with how much Ossie's pushing.
And here's Mihai now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, with how much Ossie's pushing, it may, like, the tire wear's not too high here, so the couple of percent that the extra pushing will give could very well just dissipate the 1 lap advantage he has in terms of his tire wear.
Yeah, it could, because Viral right now seems to be recovering a bit of pace.
Yeah.
I think another lap he'll have Ossie out of DRS range here, actually, because he's got some ERS left to use down the straight, and Ossie has not.
Does not, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Viral doing a good job of managing this race right now.
as long as he does actually burn here. Viral, you need to burn a little bit more than that. He's going to keep him just within a second. He could have burnt and got him out, but...
Yeah, that's, I think, a mishap from Viral there to allow Ossie the DRS. Ossie's still so low on ERS, but I think Viral has a good chance to gap him next lap anyway.
Yeah, like...
So the Saubers might have used a bit too much of their battery and their tires to get into this range, and now that they're here, they can't keep it.
And the dirty air
Bazooka
as well.
very close to Pix. And there's Mihai as well, but he's got absolutely 0 battery, so he's got no chance to overtake him into turn 1. And there goes Bazooka flying past Pix on the main straight, up into the top 5. The gap to Flavors at this point up to 6 seconds, so the 3-second penalty of Flavors at least won't cost him that 4th place that he's going to have over the line.
Yeah. And...
But he basically needs to hope... Well, it's a situation for Flavors, because... For the constructors, he has to hope Viral beats Saubers. For the drivers, he has to hope that the Saubers beat Viral.
Yeah.
So I think he's gonna lean towards the Saubers being 1-2.
Best case scenario,
the constructors, they have a bit more of a buffer, and I think you also just care more about drivers and constructors realistically.
Yeah. especially in league racing.
Oh well, yeah, no, good point. The ideal scenario is they just all crash and he wins. But the realistic scenarios, of course, he's gonna want the Saubers to win.
Yeah. Also, around a second again, around 8/10 this time, it shouldn't be possible.
Mihai going for the move on Pix into Spoon.
It's gonna be aggressive
on the inside and then backs out.
Yeah. And Pix does stay
That's a lot of
ahead.
EAS wasted for nothing. I'm not sure why he did that. He could have just waited for the main straight, realistically.
Yeah.
Now he's got no EAS to pass and will be stuck behind for another lap.
Ooh,
And then now a 3-second time penalty to Dylan.
Yeah, that's gonna cost him a lot.
That's gonna really hurt his chances because he was catching a good bit on that three-car train ahead.
Yeah.
But now with that penalty, it's very likely he can get a P5 out of this race. And if anything, I think it's more likely now that he finishes 8th, exactly where he is right now.
Quite possibly, which is unfortunate because I think if he just pitted a lap or two sooner, he might have been able to at least challenge and then wait for the tyres, because like his tyres will die at the same time.
I think he pitted exactly the right time. The only thing he's done
Possible.
wrong is the time penalty.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
He was
how
going to do
it-
11 laps in the medium, which is like a very normal medium stint. Maybe a lap earlier he could have done, but definitely not 2.
Oh, Pix is
And that's a
exactly-
disconnect from Pix with quite bad timing. He was battling for 5th.
Yeah. And now
I'll
Mihai's
invite him
through.
back in, of course. But yeah, by the time he's back in, he'll already be well off the range to Mihai and
Could
Bazooka,
be in trouble
and
with
probably
Dylan.
quite close to Dylan.
Yeah. And Viral just sitting 6/10 clear of Aussie at the moment. He's not able to get him out of DRS, but keeping him hanging is a very comfortable margin and shouldn't be any threat at this. At this distance, he shouldn't be any threat. Should Aussie. But if you just keep him in DRS, there's always the chance he gets closer and does attack. But for the time being, Viral's still very comfortable out front.
Yeah, also can now recharge battery for a bit, and then I think into the last couple of laps, he will be in a position to start attacking him. Of course, if he wants to also get Maxi in the second place and get the 1-2 for Sauber, then they either have to set up to be very close to Viral out the last corner, both of them, to be able to make a double move happen, or he needs to pass him sooner rather than later, so Viral also has enough time to do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because it really just depends. Because one mistake from Viral is all it would take for Oshie to be in front, and then Viral has the oh, speaking of a mistake, there goes Maxi wide on the curb. He's not cost him too much. Just Flavor's going.
And Flavor's on the same
skating
thing.
wide through the second deck now. But yeah, it's
Pix is still not back in. At this point, he's lost already 4 seconds to the car that also another invite. Hopefully, he can get back into the lobby and at least get himself that P7 he's still on for right now. But Dylan is on him. Mihai now very close to Bazooka and burning overtake into Spoon, which once again not the spot you want to go for the overtake, as he can't even complete it really. He's still alongside on the inside. But even if he gets him now, he's just giving him the edge for the main straight. It'll be re-overtaken, so I'm not sure about the decision-making from Mihai there. Because he's now got 0% battery, and he will not be able to pass Bazooka into turn 1.
yeah, it's. I don't know. It's interesting. 'cause
Oh, well,
now
he actually
now
is
he's
going to
on
get
the
him
inside.
into the Casio Triangle somehow.
I
think
think
Bazooka turned the ES off completely.
I think Bazooka was trying to get the DRS, but he's done it too late, and Mihai's got the DRS now, and I'm not sure if Bazooka's
yeah.
going to be able to fight it back, even with having more DRS.
I think he still gets him.
Yeah,
He still gets him.
it's going to be close. He's not going to be close enough, no.
No, not quite.
And Mihai.
And picks the IS pit!
Oh my god.
Oh no.
He'll still be ahead of us.
Well, that's him
He's 30
firmly
seconds.
in P8.
It's soft.
Onto soft as well. That's
Oh dear.
really, really shit for picks.
He's still ahead of Owise, but oh my god. Yeah. You get disconnected and the AI just randomly decides they're gonna pit, and it's the most infuriating thing ever. Because you're perfectly safe on tire wear to go to the end, but the AI doesn't like going above like 50. The AI just gets scared as soon as the tire wear goes slightly high.
Yeah, the AI actually two-stops around here, that's why I
Yeah.
pit him.
But not with a soft. Unless they do and they're just stupid, but the AI just gets really scared when it sees high tire wear. and then just will pit you no matter. Like, even like on the last lap, you can disconnect and the air will still pit you. It's the most frustrating thing ever if you're on the receiving end of that. Yeah,
Free once again, coming out to Casino Triangle. I think Viral is very far ahead of Aussie here, so he's got nothing to worry about. Bazooka has managed to stay with Mihai in DRS range. So for at least a moment, Mihai still has to keep an eye behind. The gap to Flavors ahead. You have to gain 4 seconds over the next 5 laps.
It's possible.
So tough ask for Mihai to get another position in this race. And it's still seeming likely that Viral comes off this race with a 25-point score. Flavors 12 and Mihai 10. And I think that would put Mihai firmly out of contention for the championship.
Yeah, and it's also
Flavors on the back foot as well.
It's possible that it ends up being, it's going off there, that's the Aston Martin of the Kaiser. It's possible, very possible that Mihai does finish ahead of Flavors. I doubt it, but it's not unrealistic to say it's possible. With the gap being effectively 4.3. As I say that, Mihai goes skating wide at the first Egner. It's not going to cost him all that much time. It's cost him a couple of tenths, but not the sort of mistake you want to be making when you're trying to hunt down Flavors.
I mean, with a 5-second instant gain, he needs perfect laps every single time, and he's not gaining at all right now. If anything, the gap's going up. So,
I mean, that is
unfortunately,
he went skating onto a curb, but
yeah, but I think even before that, he wasn't gaining really. And Flavors might even get into DRS range to the top 3, so that could, well, also slow him down, but it could also speed him up. It depends really how the train is going, if the slipstream is helpful at all, or if they start battling. Because it's quite likely that Aussie and Raul are going to get into a bit of a battle at the end of the race. I'm sure Aussie wants this race win. Maxi, he's 8 tenths back from Aussie. He would have to get 2 cars in one go, really. So for him, it's quite unlikely that he can get involved in the fight for the win. But I'm sure Aussie will try absolutely everything he can.
Aussie will throw everything at it, especially on the last couple of laps. I'd imagine it won't be long until they start saving for the final lap to be able to dump it all. Like, it won't be long until they get to that sort of stage of mind.
I don't know. You don't really get to that until lap 26 because you gain so much EAS over 1 lap.
Yeah, but like if you're on 0 going on to lap 26, you might still be able to fully recharge. I don't know. Like, it'd be obviously it's easier to recharge the more you have to start off with.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to burn into like 0 now, but you can burn a little bit. If you come into lap 26 with like 50, you're probably fine.
Yeah.
And Flavors, 1 second back exactly now. Just over the DRS range as he has a bit of a bad run through the middle of Swoon, but now a good exit. Burn some overtake, and that will get him into the DRS range of Maxi. I mean, now a 4-car train for the lead of the race, coming into the last couple of laps.
Yeah. That will be a big helping hand for Flavors, but realistically, with that time bounty, there's no way he can fight for the podium. The only thing he can hope is that someone else gets a bounty and then he can pounce on it. But with how low he is on battery, I don't think he can fight anyway. Aussie, is only 2.5 tenths behind Viral this time around. But again, 2.5 tenths into the corner, you're never going to make a move from there. You have to be alongside, and you have to be fully alongside by the time you get to turn 1 to even have a chance. Yeah,
it's a bit annoying really for the car behind, because turn 1. There's not braking zone at all, really. Well, there is, but not a proper one. You're turning while braking. You can't really go for a late dive bump. They've already committed to their line at the corner. You need to be alongside before the braking zone.
And if you're only partially alongside, sticking up the inside, you're not going to.
Yeah, it's very risky as well. If the guy on the outside turns in, you're spun around. Taking a penalty, but that doesn't get you your win back, you know. It's also a very short run on that main straight. So it really is like almost made to be a hugely difficult track for overtaking.
Yeah,
only 1 DS zone, it's very short, no big braking zones apart from that hairpin, but the run to the hairpin is also unbelievably small and also right after the worst corner on the track for Dirty Air. I think if you try to make a worse track for racing, you'd really struggle. On this game anyway.
Yeah, with how the game is, it's practically impossible to race around here. The only advantage is if you are good on exits and the guy in front of you isn't, the last corner is a nice helping hand in that.
Yeah, we've got 3 more laps to go now. Aussie is a bit too far back this time around as well. He really needs to be within that 3/10 window coming out of the Casio triangle. Otherwise, this just will not work. He needs one really good lap where he can get right up behind. As Dylan is now in the pit lane again. Of course, with picks being still on AI, it allows Dylan to go for pit stop and for a fast lap attempt, as he wasn't going to catch Bazooka and Mihai.
Yeah, makes sense.
Gap from Mihai to Flavors also still stable somewhat at 8 seconds. Open up a little bit, I think it was 7.5 earlier. So a slight advantage for Flavors, but Mihai certainly not catching him. So it will be a 4th place finish for Flavors, and Mihai will not get involved in the battle for the podium positions at all.
Dylan
comes up the pit lane behind Owise, but he has a 13-lap tire advantage, soft versus hards. So if anything, he will use Owise for DRS to have a better lap. So you can absolutely secure the fastest lap point.
He's going to be ahead by the end of the S, I think.
Well,
not quite.
I think he's going to stay behind. Oh, well, he's going to sparkle stay behind because Owise is taking
the road.
interesting lines.
Yeah, there he goes. Dylan up into 8th, and he's getting dirty air for the first time in a while, and not quite knowing how to deal with it. 2 laps to go now, as they go on to lap 26, penultimate lap of the race. Maxi and Aussie both with quite low. They've all got quite low ERS already. Highest one being Aussie, actually, in 2nd place with 40%. Viral 20.
Yeah, Aussie is in a pretty good spot here, I think.
Yeah.
If he has a good lap, if he gets close enough, he'll have the ES advantage over Viral. And Viral, the problem when you are the leader here is you have to defend 2 times.
Yeah.
In turn 1, you get the chance to recharge the S's, but it's not infinite recharge either. So if you are at like below 10 into turn 1, you will struggle. Because you need to also, of course, burn in this middle part of the lap after the S's and into the long straight in the end. It is certainly possible for a move into the Casio triangle on the last lap to happen. They are now equal on ERS, 5/10 the gap. 3-second penalty now to Mihai, which will cost him 5th place against Bazooka.
Yeah.
And a yellow flag for Always, I believe.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Aussie is too far back from Viral right now. He'll get a bit of a slipstream down this straight, but it won't be enough to get him close enough, I think, into the first corner. Viral is doing a good job on the ES mentor as well, 70% coming onto the last lap. Now they burn a bit. Viral wants to keep him far away. Aussie wants to get closer. But I think if Aussie wants to go for it, his best chance will be on the last lap against the triangle. Here comes Flavors, now going for exactly the move that I was describing from Aussie earlier. Goes around the outside of Maxi, and that's P3 in this race. If Flavors can get that penalty removed, it could still be on for a podium for him.
Yeah. So you go
Viral covering the inside on the main straight. Aussie is too far back, but Viral is very low on the ES. It is not over yet.
No, but very
if Aussie can stay close.
For the final corner, there's a big ERS difference. Viral, of course, will recharge throughout this entire first sector as they take it through the S's. It will allow Aussie to get a little bit closer the more Viral recharges, but Aussie with 70% battery, Viral only able to recharge up to about 50 is going to cost him later in the lap, but with a 6/10 advantage, he shouldn't be under too much pressure until basically that final straight, and there's no DRS there to allow Aussie to get that a little bit closer. The gap's now 4/10 as they come through the 2 Decanus. Both have made it through cleanly. The gap extends a little bit more as Aussie's hit with a little bit of dirty air. The ERS neutralizing a little bit as Aussie's burnt a bit to try and get
I think
close.
Aussie might get him.
It's 3/10 exiting the
hairpin. Really good hairpin.
4/10 now as the gap extends up with Viral getting a little bit better of an exit as they head into Spoon. It's a really nasty corner for dirty air, this one, and it will help out Viral extend that gap. It's half a second as they rotate it through the last part of Spoon. Viral's got it through neatly. And now, it's just the run to the Casio triangle. The gap's obviously coming down. Aussie has the slipstream, but I can't quite see it being enough as they head into the final chicane of the race. Viral just needs to get it stopped and rotated neatly, and he should have done all he needs to do as he takes it through the final chicane. And from, was it 5th on the grid, I think? Yeah, Viral wins in Suzuka. It's a very well-executed race from the start to take that win home. And it's big points in the championship fight. It's 2nd for Aussie, 3rd for Maxi, a 2nd Sauber double podium in a row, 4th and 5th for Haas, to keep the championship fight, keep the constructors fight still going. Mihai 6th place really does seem to have knocked him out of championship contention. Dylan is probably going to lose 7th because of his penalties to Pix's AI.
Yep, that's embarrassing.
And then it's going to be Pix in 7th despite being disconnected and making a pit stop. Can Dylan get the fastest lap at the end, or does he
already has it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he already has it.
Yeah, and it's Pix who gets 7th, despite being disconnected for the last 10 laps. Otherwise, going to come home in P9, and Action Rick in P10 to round off the points. And then it's just the Kaiser. And now the gap in the championship with Flavors P4 is going to be... Mihai's got a 20...
19.
Yeah.
19 from Flavors to Rival. And Mihai has lost... Mihai has lost... Hold on. He finished 6th, that's 8 points. Mihai has lost 17 points today. Cummington Racing was 31 behind, so he is now 58 points back with 2 rounds to go. Which would be him mathematically out of contention, but we have got the sprint race next week in Abu Dhabi. 12 if you win. So Mihai is just barely still in mathematical contention, and it's quite likely that after the sprint next week he'll be out of it. Yeah. So I think we can narrow it down now to Flavors and Viral, and with that win that Viral has picked up, with Flavors down in 4th place, he has put himself a bit ahead and gotten himself a nice little buffer into the last 3 races, 2 rounds of the season. Very, very exciting to see.
Yeah.
Abu Dhabi and Brazil, of course, the championship can be decided next week. If Viral has a good sprint and a good main race, you could see a champion crown already.
Yeah. It's not over, but it is very firmly advantage Viral. But that's what we said after Australia as well. And then the gap came down over the next couple of races. Yeah. So, it's not over just yet, but it's definitely heavily advantaged Viral going into the last couple of races. A very, very good win today. From where, in qualifying, he did not seem to be on it, but he got the good start to get ahead of Flavors, worked his way up the DRS train, and then got the strategy spot on to go to pit early, cover off the undercut before it can even happen, and take home a very strong victory to really put one hand on that championship. Yeah, Maxi did. Yeah, Maxi had that collision with Bazooka, which Bazooka saying he could, or which Flavors is saying can be reported. I didn't see it exactly. I didn't see it at all, but there was that collision that I forgot about. But yeah, constructors as things stand, it's Sauber do gain on Haas, but nothing too drastic. 'Cause it was 2-3 versus 4-5, so it's not a huge gain at all for Sauber. But they're still keeping just about there, not letting Haas run away with it, and that championship fight is still on. Yeah, that is pretty much championship over for Mihai. It's big advantage to Viral. But we'll see how Abu Dhabi and Interlagos turn out, really. Because it still could go either way. It's not game over. But it'll be an interesting one to watch out for the rest of the season. It should, though. It should realistically go the way of Viral from here, but you can't call it too early.
I mean, 19 points over 3 races. If Flavors were to win both those races and Viral finishes P2, that's already a 14-point swing.
Yeah.
Give him the sprint run as well with Viral P2. Like, just, Viral maximizes everything while Flavors wins. That's another 3 points he would gain over him in the sprint. So that alone would be Flavors winning everything and Viral being P2 would be a 17-point swing. So it's still very much in Flavors' hand, because all that needs to happen then is Viral finishes P3 somewhere. Yeah. So Viral doesn't even need like a crazy bad result for Flavors to still very much have this in his own hand. Especially with the sprint race, of course, I think being a good chance to have some chaos, some unforeseen results. I'm excited for these last 2 races, and I think
should be a lot
it will be a very good fight between Flavors and Viral. And yeah.
But the thing is with Flavors is that even if he maximizes everything, it might not still be enough.
Well, if he wins everything, Viral needs to finish P2 every time.
Yeah. But
like I said, it's very, very unlikely.
Enough on its own.
I mean, Flavors winning all 3 is also already unlikely, but Viral being P2 in that scenario also is even more unlikely than, I would say.
Yeah.
It's certainly still in the hand of Flavors, I would say.
Yeah.
As in, if he goes and wins all 3 races, he will be champion.
Yeah.
I would put all the money in the world on that.
Viral start 5th to 3rd really was just the turning point in the race because his quali wasn't amazing. He's posted his start in Division 3 chart, and it's just a very nice launch to get him ahead of Maxi before they got to turn 1 and then got past Flavors on the inside.
Yeah, that launch was absolutely crucial, and it's what got him into the fight. And without that launch, and his strategy as well, really good. The early undercut, getting track position on a track where it's so difficult to overtake, and the Saubers, couldn't ever get back at him.
Yep. Very well executed from Viral in the end to overturn a qualifying where he didn't seem that strong, to be honest. But I think that's partly why Viral is has this advantage, because he's just been, even when he doesn't have the strongest qualifying, he gets a result out of something. And the only racer I can think where he really didn't get anything was Monaco. Monaco is the only race I can really think of where Viral turned up. Oh yeah, looking at the championship, it was Monaco and Singapore. Otherwise, he's been top 5 every race, bar Baku, where he crashed in Baku, didn't he? Yeah.
Baku was so long ago.
He crashed. Yeah, I remember. He was one of many to crash in that race because him and Flavors both crashed. Mihai got 3rd because I think Mihai crashed at some point. Yeah, but besides Monaco and Singapore, every race he's finished, he's been in the top 5. He's just been so consistent all season, has Viral, and that's why he's in the position he is right now. And very deservedly so. But yeah, he just needs to hold on really for the last couple of races, but it's not over yet. But yeah, it's definitely it's in his court. Yeah. But otherwise, I don't think I have much else to say for tonight. Unless you have anything more to add.
No, I think we've said all I can say about that race.
Yeah, so Division 2 tomorrow night. I don't actually know what Division 2 is looking like. I've not been looking into it too much. Is the championship fight still alive? Gabriel
Very much.
Yeah.
Gabriel, very much.
7 points, yeah. It's now back in Gabriel's favour after that mid-season slump he had. Yeah. So Division 2 still very much got a title fight. Division 1's a little bit less open, but it's still 13 points. Anything could happen.
We have Copium, we believe. Well, I don't, but someone believes that.
B Numbers believes. Probably.
Thank you, B Numbers.
Yeah. So, the title fight's still very much open in Division 3 and 2. 1, it's a little bit more closed, but it's still.
I mean, on paper, Division 1 is closer than 3, and you're saying 3 is open, 1 is not. This is so disrespectful, actually, to me.
The difference is Division 1 has Kart Racer. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, all of the divisions.
I mean, I say myself that is not actually that open, even though.
Yeah.
I mean, Kart Racer has got 10 races attended this season. I have attended 16, no 15.
15.
All 15 we've done so far. So 5 races more, and he's actually ahead of me. So I think that tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
Over how my season has gone and how his season has gone.
Yeah. But it's still open it's technically open in all 3 divisions.
Yeah, I mean, if Card has one bad race, I'll be ahead, and then we can see.
Yeah, so make sure to tune in tomorrow night for Division 3 in Suzuka, which, Division 2 in Suzuka, sorry. Anything could happen there. And then Saturday, Division 1, and then we loop around to next week. Division 3, Abu Dhabi Reverse Grid Sprint, don't miss it, because that one should be a lot of fun. Same in all 3 divisions, really, but that's all we've got for tonight. Hopefully see you tomorrow, if not some point in the near future. And yeah, hope to see you soon around at